Hey guys, I'm Robin. I teach people tools and techniques to master their life. I'm a tarot reader, a certified hypnotist, certified NLP coach, certified Reiki master, certified life coach. If you're interested in working with me, I have individual and group programs that you could join. Go to my website and download the free self-concept workshop and check out all the sales that I'm running this month. The best value is the Change Your Thoughts, Change Your Life program paired with VIP group coaching. I think you'll find that your needs will be met completely with those programs. You can check them all out here. And make sure you follow me on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, all the other social medias. I love you guys. Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're going to do Feeling is a Secret Chapter 2, and this talks about sleep and SATS, a state akin to sleep, which is literally my favorite way to manifest anything. It's the easiest way to manifest. So sleep, the life that occupies 1/3 of our stay on Earth, is the natural door into the subconscious. Now, if you haven't heard Chapter 1, go back and listen to Chapter 1 before you do Chapter 2. And I'm taking everything from the Neville Goddard collection. I'll link this down below if you want to grab your copy. It's a pretty big book, but it's all of Neville's works, okay? So sleep. The life that occupies 1/3 of our stay on Earth is the natural door into the subconscious mind. So it is with sleep that we are now concerned. The conscious 2/3 of our life on Earth is measured by the degree of attention we give to sleep. Our understanding of and delight in what sleep has to bestow will cause us, night after night, to set out for it as though we were keeping an appointment with a lover. Now, I have to tell you, since learning this and developing my own practice every night when I go to bed, like I look forward to that time before I drop off to sleep. I look forward to that time that I have with myself and then using SATS. It is in sleep and in prayer, a state akin to sleep, and that's what SATS means, a state akin to sleep, that man enters the subconscious to make his impressions and receive his instructions. In these states, the conscious and subconscious are creatively joined. So what he's saying is the masculine and feminine parts, the conscious and subconscious, they will come together. They'll join together. The male and the female become one flesh. They merge. And essentially what they're saying is everything is merging. So what you desire and what's in your 3D reality, all of that is merging into one. Sleep is the time when the male or conscious mind turns from the world of sense to seek its lover or the subconscious self. The subconscious, unlike the woman of the world who marries her husband to change him, has no desire to change the conscious, waking state, but loves it as it is and faithfully reproduces its likeness in the outer world of form. Okay, all that's saying is your subconscious and your conscious mind are never going to try to change its mind, okay? It's going to produce in the 3D, reflect back to you exactly what's there. It's not going to try to change it, okay? It's up to us to change that, to reprogram it. The conditions and events of your life are your children formed from the molds of your subconscious impressions in sleep. They are made in the image and likeness of your innermost feeling that they may reveal to you. As in heaven, so on earth. Heaven, okay, when he talks about heaven, that is what he's talking about, the subconscious mind. As in the subconscious, so on earth. Whatever you have in consciousness as you go to sleep is the measure of your expression in the waking 2/3 of your life. So basically, what's going on when you're sleeping is then what's going to get projected in your 3D reality. Nothing stops you from realizing your objective save your failure to feel that you are already that which you wish to be, or that you are already in possession of the thing that you sought. So going to bed, sleeping as if you already have everything that you desire. Your subconscious gives form to your desires only when you feel your wish fulfilled. So only when you feel like your wish is fulfilled. The unconscious of sleep is the normal state of the subconscious. Because all things come from within, and your conception of yourself determines that which comes to you. So whatever you assume about yourself, your conception, whatever you think about yourself, believe about yourself, is what gets reflected. You should always feel that the wish fulfilled. You should always feel the wish fulfilled before you drop off to sleep. How would I feel were my wish fulfilled? Is the feeling which should monopolize and immobilize your attention as you relax into sleep. You must be in the consciousness of being or having that which you want to be or to have before you drop off to sleep. So you want to make sure that you get into that feeling, the state of being, that you already have everything that you desire. I tell this story all the time. Anytime I can. So I was living in Colorado. I wanted to move to California. My job wanted me out in California, and I wanted to live on the beach, but I couldn't afford, based off of my finances at the time, I couldn't afford a place on the beach. So I didn't worry about the money. Okay. I figured out the budget. I figured out what I would need, and wrote that down in my journal. So my budget I would have to have X number of dollars coming in. I did that one time. All right, wrote that in my journal that I have this much money coming in. But every night, so it's January, I'm in Colorado, it's cold, it's snowy. I would get into bed every night. Now the first week or so, I would play like waves, beach waves. Okay. So I would put that on and I would fall asleep imagining that I was falling asleep listening from my bed in California to the waves outside my window. So I would fall asleep as if I was already in California, falling asleep to the waves. I figured if I could hear the waves, I must be living on the beach. And I just did that. That was just my habit. Every night I would fall asleep to that. Within 3 months, I had an apartment on the beach and I was moving to California. And if you hear all that noise, that's just Molly, my puppy, crawling around. Your mood prior to sleep defines your state of consciousness or state of being. I use state of being. As you enter into the presence of your everlasting lover, the subconscious. And that's when you're getting into that theta state. So right before you drop off to sleep, you're in a theta state. A theta state helps you hit that subconscious, okay? It's like it lets the gate down to the subconscious so that you can easily program it. Now, your brain doesn't know the difference between a real and an imagined event. So if you're dropping off to sleep, imagining, let's say you have an SP that you want, and you're imagining that you're dropping off to sleep with the SP sleeping next to you, and you're happy and you're content and you feel so loved, that has to be expressed in 3D. It has to. Okay? Now, the beach thing, it took me 3 months. There was a lot of coordinating that needed to happen. But the money, when I said to my boss, hey, I'm going to need, a cost of living raise, Colorado to California, there's a big difference here. And I didn't even give him a number. I thought, well, let me just see what they come back to me. They came in $1,000 less than what I wrote in my journal. But the crazy thing about it is, after I got settled and I got moved in, then one of our finance people reached out to me and they said, hey, just so you know, you get another $1,000 to buy groceries and things that you might need. So make sure you put in for that. So I ended up getting exactly the number that I wrote in my journal. Did I do affirmations to bring in that much money? Nope. Never even thought about it. All I did was imagine that I was already living in the apartment. Of course, I would imagine and I would be looking at apartments online. So I was imagining what type of apartment I wanted to live in, but dropping off to sleep as if I was in that apartment listening to the sound of the ocean, because I was apparently living on the beach. All right. And that's exactly how that, I didn't worry about the money. I didn't worry how I was going to get there. I didn't worry about any of those things. I just dropped off to sleep with that intention. Okay. Or with that vision. So if I'm dropping off to sleep, and this is what the book, I am successful, you must be successful. So if you are falling asleep and you are, in the state of being of, I am so successful, I'm so grateful, I'm so successful, everything is working out for me, it has to manifest. It has to be reflected back to you in 3D in some way, shape, or form. And the more that you do that, the longer you're going to sustain that, the bigger the impact of that success that's going to come in. The more that you hold that vibration of success, the faster and the more it's going to come to you. All right, so you lie flat on your back with your head on level with your body. Feel as if you were in possession of your wish, and quietly relax into unconsciousness. The subconscious never sleeps. Sleep is the door through which the conscious, waking mind passes to be creatively joined to the subconscious. This is why I'll have, especially in coaching, some of my clients, they'll come to me and they'll say, listen, I'm doing that meditation every night, or I'm doing that hypnosis, or I'm doing my affirmations every night before I go to bed, but I end up falling asleep in the middle of them. Is that okay? Or am I doing it wrong? Am I ruining it? And I always tell them, it doesn't matter. Your subconscious is always paying attention. Okay. You could play an 8-hour affirmation video, and that is reprogramming your subconscious mind. Sleep conceals the creative act while the objective world reveals it. In sleep, man impresses the subconscious with his conception of himself. So while you're sleeping, you're impressing or changing the subconscious, the self-concept, your own self-concept, your own identity. And this is number 2. So preparing to sleep, you feel yourself into the state of the answered wish, and then relax into unconsciousness. Your realized wish is to be whom you seek. By night in your bed, you seek the feeling of the wish fulfilled, that you may take it with you into the chamber of her that conceived you, into sleep, or the subconscious which gave you form, that this wish may also be given expression. This is the way to discover and conduct your wishes onto the subconscious. Feel yourself in the state of the realized wish and quietly drop off to sleep. Night after night, you should assume the feeling of being, having, and witnessing that which you seek to be, possess, and see manifested. Now, in coaching, people will say to me, well, I want my SP. What should I be falling asleep to? Imagine falling asleep in bed with your person. Imagine falling asleep in bed in your new house. What's the end result? So go all the way to the end. What does that look like? What do you want that to look like? You want to have kids? You want to have a pet? You want to have, what I wanted, a dog. I just kept imagining falling asleep to a dog snuggling up to me. That's it. And then it just happened. It naturally just happened. Synchronistically just happened. A friend of mine reached out to me and said, hey, I remember you said you always wanted a golden retriever. I know somebody, and the price isn't really bad, and I really trust them, and blah, 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 blah. They're full golden retrievers, the whole 9 yards. And it happened to just align with my timeline of coming back to Pennsylvania, because the person is back in Pennsylvania. It all just naturally unfolded. Now, did I stress out about it a little? Of course I did. Just a little tiny bit. How am I going to do all this? How am I going to coordinate it? Is it going to be right? Should I get the dog? Should I not get the dog? There was a little bit of anxiety. But the majority of it was me imagining having this beautiful little puppy to love and snuggle with. That was it. That's all I focused on. Let's say it's money. Well, what do you want the money for? Okay, I wanted the money, but I wanted it so that I could live on the beach. And that's just one example. But I wanted the money so that I could live on the beach. So what's the end result? What do you want the money for? You want the money so you could buy a new home? Do you want the money so you could buy a new car? Do you want the money just so that you could have freedom to travel? So you want to drop off to sleep with that end result. What would you do with the money? Okay, because technically you don't really need the money. Maybe you want the money to travel. Do you really need the money to travel? Fall asleep imagining that you're traveling, that you're in a new country every time you fall asleep, and then watch what happens. Because you could win a trip, you could get a position where you have to travel to all of these places that you want to go to. So imagine going to the places that you desire. That's what I would do. Okay. You want to think of, why do you want the lover? You want the lover so that you could fall asleep every night and feel safe and feel secure and snuggle and do things with them. You're going to drop off to sleep for the end result. Okay. Not the means that you think will get you there. All right. Proof that you are will follow the consciousness that you are. It will not ever precede it. Let me repeat that. Proof that you are will follow the consciousness that you are. It will not precede it. It will not come before it. You have to be the consciousness of the thing that you want for it to come. It's not going to come because your conscious mind is saying, I want the money. You have to be aligned with the money first. You have to be in alignment with the money. All that being in alignment with something means is that I am that state of being. I'm in a state where I don't feel lack, where I feel abundant, where I feel as if I'm taken care of, where I feel like I have the freedom. And then your 3D will reflect that back. It will never happen in the reverse. Okay, that's the biggest mistake that I made before I found out about the law of attraction and the law of assumption and all of these things. I always just thought, I'm a good person. Why don't good things just come to me? I work hard. Why don't things just come to me? Well, my state of being, my consciousness was always in lack. I never have enough. I'm never taken care of. Okay, that was the state of being that I was carrying, and that's what was always being reflected back to me. Whatever the mind of man can imagine, man can realize. The world cannot change until you change your conception of it, as within, so without. Nations, as well as people, are only what you believe them to be. No matter what the problem is, no matter where it is, no matter whom it concerns, you have no one to change but yourself, and you have neither opponent nor helper in bringing about the change within yourself. So this brings up a really good point about politics. Okay, so everyone's heated in the country right now over politics. Everybody's been heated in this country for years and years over politics. If someone was elected that I didn't like, and I've been able to practice this, okay, if someone was elected that I didn't prefer, I would just keep imagining that despite that, the country still got better and better. The world just got better and better. Not to focus on the little tiny things that happen. Even like today. So we have Trump as president today. There are things that I love what he's doing over here, and there are other things that I'm like, not so much. But I'm not hyper super focused on the little tiny things that are happening. I'm 1,000 feet from the what's going on, and I'm saying the world is going to just keep getting better and better. Whatever is going on over here is going to be the domino that needs to fall in order to make this happen in the future. Okay, give me what I want in the future. You have to keep holding, though, that the world is getting better and better, that the country is getting better and better, that people are getting better and better. You have to do that. You can't be focused, and reality transurfing talks about pendulums. You can't be hyper super focused on the little tiny things that are happening, and you can't keep negatively responding to them, or you're just going to keep seeing that over and over and over again. Again, whatever you believe, whatever you conceive is going to be reflected back in 3D, in the mirror. All right. Do not waste one moment in regret, for to think feelingly of the mistakes of the past is to reinfect yourself. Okay, this is a great point. Stop ruminating over the past. Okay, I used to do this all the time. I would go over in my mind, over and over and over, a breakup, over and over my childhood, over and over all my problems. I would tell anybody that would listen, I was the best victim. I was the professional victim. If you came into my office, or I was out and I started talking to you, I'd tell you about all my problems. Then the next person, I'd tell them about all my problems. I didn't ever shut up about all my problems. And what do you think I kept attracting? What do you think kept getting reflected back to me? All of my problems. You don't want to reinfect your future timeline with the crap that's been going on in the past. Okay, you want to stop that. They have a quote here: let the dead bury the dead. Turn from appearances and assume the feeling that would be yours were you already the one you wish to be. Again, you want to change your identity. So there's an identity of the person that has the life that you don't want, okay? Whatever's happening in that timeline that you don't want, there's an identity of a person there. You want to become the identity of the person who has what it is that you desire. So if you had the SP, if you had the money, if you had the home, how would you act? What would you be saying? What would you be thinking? What would you be doing? You want to become the identity of the person that already has what they desire. Feeling a state produces that state. So feeling the state produces the state to be reflected back to you. You will rise believing that you are a free agent, not realizing that every action and event of the day is predetermined by your self-concept as you fell asleep. I'm not going to go through everything. I'm reading like the most important points to you. Every reaction makes a subconscious impression, and unless counteracted by an opposite and more dominant feeling, is the cause of future action. So, Bashar says all the time, circumstances don't matter, only state of being matters. Reacting to the 3D, to the unwanted circumstances, it's okay. I overreact, okay? I do it all the time. I may react to whatever's going on 3D. I lose my temper. Maybe I get upset. Maybe I get angry. Maybe I get ticked off or sad or whatever. But what's the dominant state? What's the dominant belief? Okay, I don't want, people running around thinking, oh my God, I had a negative thought. It's going to throw everything off. Oh my God, I'm doomed. Because that's not true. Okay, it's going to be, what's your dominant belief? It's okay if you react. It's okay if you overreact. You want to correct yourself as quickly as you can, and you want to do a deep dive. What's my dominant thought? Am I going to end up manifesting that? Or do I generally believe that everything is working out in my favor? Because I do generally believe everything is working out in my favor. And if that's my dominant belief, that one reaction that I have, like, oh, that one reaction isn't going to make my life a mess, my future life a mess, okay? Through your ability to think and feel, you have dominion over all creation. That's your free will. Okay, your free will is that you have the ability to choose how you're going to react in every situation. While you are awake, you are a gardener selecting seed for your garden. You're constantly planting seeds. Every word, every thought, everything that you're doing, you're planting seeds for your future timeline. Your conception of yourself as you fall asleep is the seed you drop into the ground of the subconscious. Dropping off to sleep, feeling satisfied and happy compels conditions and events to appear in your world which confirm these attitudes of mind. Sleep is the door into heaven. Remember in the beginning I said heaven is the subconscious. What you take in as a feeling, you bring out as a condition, action, or an object in space. So sleeping in the feeling of the wish fulfilled, as in consciousness, so on earth. And that wraps up chapter 2. I'll be doing chapter 3 and chapter 4 together because they're short chapters. Chapter 4 is like 2 pages, basically. Chapter 3 is on prayer. Yeah, they're both really short. And chapter 4 is on spirit or feeling. Okay. All right, guys. If you like this content, make sure you like this video. If you have any questions, post them down below. I love you guys. Have a great day.